call ego. I think ego is probably responsible for most of the hard, evil, rotten things that happen in this world. It all comes back to ego. Ego is responsible for most of the evil and pain in this world. Ego separates you from everything but itself. It focuses on what you have, not who you are. It makes you compare yourself to everything else. It stresses differences, not similarities. It focuses not on who you are, but on what others think you are. It is easily offended and seeks revenge when it is. It is a feeding frenzy which creates even more hunger. It becomes both an offensive and a defensive weapon. It is self-esteem on speed. It needs trimming, but it's always resistant. It always knows more than anybody. It always protects itself, so no matter what, it makes everything into a contest it must win. It loves to fight and fights to live. Compromise is its enemy. It shines with a light that hurts the eyes and makes you feel bad, and if it does, it thinks it wins. It has flooded land, believing it is mountains. It is always entitled. Its favorite pastime is war. It is blind to all but itself. It needs constant attention. It knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. It is all made up of I and me only. It is never wrong. It is frightened, and so it takes the offensive. It is smallness acting big. It is without even a modicum of grace. It is uncompromising. It is short-sighted. It is all about greed, its twin. It is often in disguise. It never has enough. It cannot take being questioned. It cares not a whit about honesty. It is responsible for nearly all the wars and sins. Nations can develop it too, and that always leads to war and acquisition. It is the car you drive, how big your house. It is how loud, how bad your voice. It knows only one number, and that's the number one. It only takes and never gives. Its fallback position is violence. It will say anything to win and defeat you. It can never stand naked. It is armor, not skin. It is hard outside and hollow inside. It wants to control you and anything else it can. It never has enough. It will lie to you and even to itself. It is all of taking and nothing of giving. It is loneliness covered by brashness and anger. It is might at the expense of right. It is more nightmare, less of dreams. It is a prayer glorifying itself. It is not constructive but destructive. It is a weed pretending it is a flower. Its opposite is humility, but it never touches it. It cares not for civility or tranquility. It always goes subtle and gross. It violates each of the 10 Commandments. It can be religion saying that everybody else goes to hell but us. It is a bomb strapped to the belly that blows up innocence for 70 virgins. It is often in disguise. It is of one view only, my way or the highway. It admits nothing. It makes up facts to win, and when it wins, it usually results in loss. It only recognizes itself. It is darkness of the soul. It is all the taking and none of the giving. The sun revolves around it, and it is the great destroyer of relationships. And it is not just individual, but it can be group. See the Ku Klux Klan in Nations 2. Bush lying to get us into a war. So ego can be responsible for much of the evil and pain in the world. Without its abuse, there would have been no Hitler, for he could not have caused the German people to believe that they were the master race, the chosen ones, and all who died and suffered in that horrible war would have been saved, and 6 million Jews would not have gone to the gas chambers and the ovens. Without it, there would have been no Vietnam, no Iraq, no George W., no polluting the air for money, and no global warming, no stock market greed leading to our collapsing economy, and without it, a much better world. So it all starts with us. Think about how much of our suffering is caused by ego, and how, if we can control it and ourselves, how much better our world would be. So lose the ego, make it better. It all starts here with us. So let's start tonight.